Let me introduce Lee from Noosa Heads, Australia, who is about to upgrade to the Evo High Performance motor on the Manta plug-and-play platform. He has been riding the 43-volt Manta platform for over 2 years. Most riders keep buying new systems. One Lee has opted to build on the Manta platform that he trusts.
It's around about this time in 2024. I got one of the first kits, and yeah, I've been going out to mainly go out to Granite on the outer point of Noosa, and it's probably 2.5 k's out there, and I usually do about 8 to 10 k's catching waves, big long rides, and then a couple of k's back. They're probably 12k sessions, probably 2 or 3 times a week. So what would that be? That'd be probably a couple of hundred rides, a couple of thousand k's. Wow, it adds up. You know, you just got to control your trigger, not waste too much battery getting out there. And then usually when I'm down to about 30%, 35%, I'll start cruising back. So you don't want to have to paddle. Battery will last me between an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how I'm riding and whether I'm just going flat chat or whether I'm having a bit of a break or whatever. But yeah, after 2 years, I'd probably say it's an hour and a half now, the round trip. But I get a good hour on the waves. 2 to 2.5 hours to charge this particular battery from empty to full. And that's usually dead flat. It's definitely dropped a little bit, I've got to say. I think I'd be surprised if I don't get another year, maybe even 2 years out of it. I guess it'll probably, like at the moment, I think it charges up to about 96%, 97%. So I'm assuming over time it might only get up to 90, 85 potentially. Yet to be seen. But at the moment, I haven't really noticed a great deal of drop off. Maybe 10 minutes a session since brand new. So I'm still happy with the battery. And if I go out on the open beach, it's not really a problem because I usually come back. I've still got 30 or 40% because I'm done by then. Yeah, the battery, can't fault the battery charger. Never had an issue with it. I just get back from my session. I wash down my board. I undo this. I plug it straight in. And you know, I usually, because I'm riding so often, I usually just charge it straight back up to 100% because it'll only be a few days and I'm back out on the water. If I'm going to be out of action for a while, I'll only charge it to about 60% while I store it. But most of the time I just finish my session, get the board out of the back of the car, take it into the garage, plug it straight in, charge it up, I'm ready to go for the next session. So I previously demoed this motor. Before I purchased this, I've had the original motor, which has got the bearings. So I was lucky enough to be able to demo this motor, and the performance is out of this world. The difference in power. So when just recently one of my bearings went on my old motor, and to replace, I'm not really a technical guy. For me to get someone to replace it, probably going to cost me $250, $300 for the parts and the labour. Thankfully, Manta allowed me to get this at cost price, which, you know, cost me about 700 Aussie dollars at that time. And now I'm not going to have to worry about washing motor. I'm not going to have to worry about replacing bearings. I'm not going to have to worry about painting the rotor because it gets scratched and that sort of thing. So it's a no-brainer for me just to upgrade to this. So yeah, thanks Manta for providing it at cost price. Can't wait to use it. Yeah. So so I got one of the first units here in Australia, and there are a couple of little teething problems earlier on. There are a couple of mainly around bearings, but Hayden in Sydney helped me out immensely with getting things fixed, and we got through those teething issues, and that was probably only the first few months I had a few issues, which you got to expect that with a new product. But since then, I've had no issues for the last year and a half, 2 years. Had so much fun on this thing, and now it's time for the second generation, which is really, really exciting. Can't wait. So when I first noticed on my old motor that the bearing had gone, I contacted Manny straight away, and here in the Sunshine Coast, and he was so helpful. Pretty much mentioned it'd be much better to just upgrade the motor now, and eventually I'll upgrade to the Evo. But for now, my battery, my original unit's got a bit of life left in it, so I'll keep that going for a bit. But eventually I'm going to upgrade to the Evo. I've already got the motor, so it'll just be a matter of getting the battery system, and I'll be able to travel with those batteries. And I've already got the handset as well, so I really just need the new Evo unit when this gets to the end of its life. And Manta Foils are going to have a deal for us existing unit holders to upgrade for a reasonable cost. So yeah, that's something that I can't wait for in the future when this little baby's seen the end of his life. And being able to travel, I'm really looking forward to upgrading to Evo and having the batteries that connect to each other to be able to take on a plane and go to other places in Australia and around the world. Okay, so when I first test drove this particular motor, I was blown away by the extra power as opposed to the original motor. Like I literally, the board just like, I just hit the trigger like I normally would on my old motor, and the board just like popped up, and I'm like, whoa, gee, wow, this is powerful. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Which means you don't have to be as trigger happy and hit the trigger as hard, which means you're not using as much battery potentially, but if you want the power, it's there. So you've got that thrust whenever you want it. So having the bearings inside the case and not having to maintain anything as well as that power and potential battery savings as well, is just an absolute game changer for me. Doesn't matter which prop you're using, whether you're using a 2-blade or a 3-blade, you've got the thrust and the power there. So if you want to use your old 2-blade, you can. If you want to use the latest 3-blade, you can. This cable's also an upgrade. There's less once this is set up against the mast, and then the rest of the cable's tucked into the box. There's much less drag than the old flexi cable that they used to use. If you're a first-time rider, I think this is going to be perfect for you, because you've got more power to sort of trial and error to get your setup right, whatever mast system you're using, whatever board system you're using, where you are. But also, you're not going to have to maintain this thing. So my old system, I used to have to grease it. I used to have to use lanolin spray. I'd have to wash it every time, spray the bearings. I always had to have water on hand if I was at a remote beach to give it a good wash down, so you had to remember that. I mean, I would still say you would give this a rinse, but there's nothing to actually maintain. There's no painting, there's no greasing, none of that. Now, the beauty of it also is it's all plug and play. There's only the one 43-volt battery system on, whether you're on Evo, whether you're on Flow. It all plugs and plays. So if you want to replace your battery system, it just plugs straight in. You don't have to replace everything. So just like I've just replaced the motor this time and the cable, and nothing else. I've still got my remote control. I've still got my same battery system. So that's a game changer. You don't have 3 different systems which other brands might have, where you've got to buy the whole new package. You can just plug things in as you need them.
If you want to learn more about Manta plug-and-play upgrade packages, you can contact me at Manta Evolution Australia. My WhatsApp number is 0478768081.